Hi everyone, welcome to another Prima webinar. My name's Dan and today I'll be going through a new feature that we've got on Prima, which is master and child products. So first of all, we'll start off with what are master and child products used for. So the idea behind it is you can buy products in bulk on one code and sell them in a smaller pack size on another code. For example, if an Integra member buying an outer pack from Antalis and selling the initiative code on a single or smaller pack size. Another example might be to link products together which aren't necessarily linked in catalogs via a PG number, but you consider them to be acceptable alternatives. For example, a commodity product such as highlighters, where the customer doesn't mind which brand they receive. The example which I'll show now is a ream of paper on one code, which is the master. It's a pack of one, and the child code is a box of paper, which is a pack of 5 reams. So in this scenario, if I bring the sales order up, what would happen is if I entered in the child code, in this case it's XX49049, you'll see as soon as I hit enter, the code is going to switch to the master code. So it's now switched to the master code. So the idea behind it is if you add the master product onto a sales order, it's going to stay as the master product. If you add one of the child products, it's going to automatically switch to the master. So in this case, all stock and all pricing should be set against the master product, because that is the one that's going to be on your sales order that your customer will see. What it does give you the ability though is when you go to purchase the goods, you can actually, even though the sales order has the master code on, in this case the single ream of paper, you can actually buy the box, in this case under the child code, from your requirements. And essentially what will happen, especially in this case, if we put one ream on the sales order and we buy the box, we will have one allocated to the sales order and the other 4 will be moved into available stock underneath the master code. So all stock resides underneath the master code. It all gets converted over via pack pair once the purchasing's been done. So I'll show you how that works now. So as you can see, the master code 1 ream is on the sales order, and if I authorize this, we go through onto our requirements. So what you'll see here on requirements is the master code will appear. So you can see here the 1 ream, but if you highlight it and look at the bottom, you'll have all the child codes and their suppliers also listed there as well. So if I select the child code, which is for a box, so for 5 reams of paper, if I just save that, you can see now the stock code on the order is 17144, but we're going to be buying 49049, which is the box. So if I go ahead and purchase that, so you can see on the purchase order, the stock code is the buying code that we selected. It's got the description and the cost price of the child code that we're buying on. So if I hit purchase, once this gets booked in, the stock will, any excess stock will be transferred to available stock underneath the master code, and the price will also divide itself and write back to the sales order and update it once the goods have been dispatched. So in this case, £107.19 divided by 5. So we go ahead and book this in. Just for your information, there's no stock residing underneath the master code at the moment. So now one box has been booked in. If I come out of that and I go into have a look at the product and look at the stock, so master code had none in before. If I just refresh that, it's now got 4 available and 5 physical quantity. So one of them has been booked in and is allocated to the sales order, and the remaining 4 have been put into available stock. And just to show you here as well, there's no stock residing against the code that we purchased on. It's all been transferred over. And the way it does transfer over is via the pack pair. So just to reiterate, if you do choose to purchase the master product, the stock will be booked in directly against that stock code. If you do purchase the child product, once you book it in, the stock will be automatically transferred to the master product as per the pack pair on each of the products. For example, if the pack pair of the child product was 10, and the pack pair of the master was 1, 2 lots of 10 would transfer from the child product onto the master product as 20 lots of 1. If you ordered more than you required for your sales order, this stock, as I said before, will be transferred to the master product and it will sit there as available stock. All the stock is held against the master product. All stock takes, all reorder levels must be done and set against the master product. You can still place purchase orders for stock as normal. It doesn't have to be a requirement from a sales order. The stock will still transfer in the exact same way as I've just mentioned. With that in mind, there are a few things that you need to bear in mind before you do set up your master and child products. All products that are going to be linked together must first be created as stock codes. Also, the pack size, they must also correlate. So the master and child products must either have the same pack pair, or the pack pair of the master product must be divisible by the child product pack pair. So in the example that we've just done here, you can see on this child code, the pack pair is 5. And just to show you on this product window, if it has got a master product, there is this new master button in there, which will take you straight through to the master product. If I click that, you'll see the master products pack pair is 1, which is divisible by 5. And the tick box underneath is that button is selected. It's just to let you know that this is a master product. Any existing stock must also be moved over before you set these up. So in this case, if there was any stock existing against the child code for a box, this must all be moved over via a stock take into the master code. Reorder levels, like I said just before, these should only exist against the master product, in this case the ream. No reorder levels should be set against the child products, as they won't be taken into consideration, as no stock is ever going to reside there. So, in order to set these up, what you need to do, first off, if you go to stock and to products, you can search for your master code. Click into the product, and first of all what you'll want to do is make sure this is master button is selected. Once you've selected that, you want to go to the alternatives tab, and what you want to do in here is add a new alternative product like I have here. Make sure you change the alternative type to system, as it won't work if you don't select system, and then save that in. And you can see here, if you do need to kind of double check the pack pair, you can see the pack pair of the child product there, and you can just cross-reference that with the pack pair on your master product, just to make sure that it is divisible. All you need to do to increase the pack pair of a product is simply just hit the split unit button. So if you hit that, click OK, and within here you can then put in whatever pack size that you need to increase the pack pair to. So for example, in this case, if I wanted to sell this paper in a box on the master code and a box, and the child code was also a box, so they were both the child code was a pack pair of 5, I would just put 5 in here, hit apply, and they would both have the pack pair of 5 then. That's all you'd need to do. So the last part of the setup is in regards to your customers. So if you go to company and into companies, you want to search for any company that you want to have this master and child product applicable for. Click into their record. Go to the product and pricing tab. And all you need to do is make sure that this allow automatic switching to system alternatives tick box is selected. If that isn't selected, what will basically happen is when you put in a child code on a sales order, the child code will remain in there. It's not going to automatically switch it to the master. It's going to work as it has previously. So make sure that's selected and it will automatically switch. You can do this on bulk as well by using the grid manager. So if you went to company and then the company grid manager, you could, for instance, search by company type, search for all of your customers. You can obviously go to the result tab, remove any out that you don't want. And then on the change tab, you just need to select the tick box, allow automatic switching to alternatives. Select yes and hit apply. And that'll do it to everyone on bulk rather than you having to go in one by one. Few last additional notes just to finish on. Things that you need to take into consideration is your current pricing setup. If you do have child products in contracts, these prices will no longer be taken into consideration as the child product will be swapping to the master product on a sales order, therefore changing to the master product pricing. So there is a couple of ways you can get around this. So within the contract and the contract grid manager, you can search for the product code in question. And then on the change tab, you do have the option to replace it with the following product. So you could search for your child code, then put your master code as the replacement product, click apply, and that will replace the your child code with the master code, and therefore the pricing will remain the same. This is more so in the case of if you're just supplying a product that you consider an alternative and it's the same pack size. If it's a different pack size, you may want to have a little look at your pricing because it might be a different unit. Another thing to take into consideration is you'll need to, in order to change to order a child product on requirements, you will need to select standard authorization on a sales order level. You'll only be able to select the child product supplier code on the requirements window, and if you did click back-to-back purchase, it would bypass that stage and wouldn't let you select it. That's about everything in regards to master and child products. If you do have any questions whatsoever, then please feel free to contact our customer care team by phone or by email. We'll be more than happy to help. I hope that you found today's session useful, and I hope that you get a lot of use out of this master and child function. Thanks very much. Bye.